you have to hit go live there.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
There we go.
Our screen says we're streaming live now.
All right, we're starting over, you guys. Sorry.
It's officially official now.
Hopefully we give the same answers.
Okay, welcome to our Bright Ideas Realty Small Business Thirsty Thursday happy hour. Today we've got John and Crystal. John is the owner, Crystal is the general manager of the Sweetwaters Coffee and Tea in Amberley.
Hello, everybody.
You guys. So where are you right now? Tell us where you are, because that's an important part of the story.
We are at the Residence Inn in Ann Arbor, Michigan for our 7-day training. We are on day 2 of learning how to operate a Sweetwaters Coffee and Tea.
Great.
The headquarters is in Ann Arbor, Michigan. That's where the founders lived, and that's where the first store was opened.
And what are the biggest things that you're learning there?
Operations from top to bottom.
So much.
Yeah, it's
so much going on. Like they have manuals upon manuals, and like everything you need to know, you got an answer for it. It's in a book.
It is.
They have a smooth operation, and you can locate that answer.
Yes, it is certainly a well-oiled machine, and the volume for a coffee shop, you wouldn't think it. It's not intuitive. The amount of information that it requires to run one of these stores, from the operation side of things, from the management side of things, from marketing side of things, technology side of things. I mean, we use the Square system. We have a mobile app now that we are really excited about. I know
that's awesome.
Yeah, the company is very, very, it's been launched a couple months ago. They've had great early returns on it. We will be implementing it in Cary, obviously.
As well as the third parties.
Yeah, the third parties.
The Grubhub and the other means that you can.
Yeah, Grubhub, Uber Eats, so there's a lot. There's a lot to, again, it's a simple coffee shop, but a lot inside of that.
Nice. So what are the biggest takeaways that you have so far 2 days in?
Go ahead, Crystal. I'll let you start with that.
I am just shocked and in awe that the first night I got here, I met the founders, Lisa and Wei, B, and their son, Connor, actually was training me today. And I was like, that's the equivalent to like going to a Wendy's and having Dave Thomas's training me. I'm like, they're so hands-on, and like they're like the nicest, warmest people you will ever meet. Like just amazing. I'm so happy that I'm a part of this this coffee corporation. It feels more like family. It
is small. I mean, it's expanding quickly. But the founders, they opened their first store here in 1993. And so they've been in the business for 27 years, but they are accessible. I can call them again, it's sort of like, to use the Wendy's analogy, it's like calling Dave Thomas whenever I need to ask a question. They pick up.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think that is kind of unique in the franchise world. So that's been great. They bought us dinner on Tuesday night. It was fun to just sort of hang out and get to know them. Crystal had never met them. I obviously had. To that point. So yeah, that's been great. Everybody, and actually the whole staff up here, I mean, the whole corporate team they're just so hands-on. They're so accessible, approachable, friendly, patient. Patient is probably a virtue that they've had to either acquire or maybe it's a great with naive franchisees like myself who don't know how to make an espresso, but
How many Sweetwater stores are there in total?
I think they have 30 open right now across the country. There's a cluster around Michigan, Western Ohio. But people like myself have signed an agreement and are looking for real estate across the country. So there's a cluster of them in Austin, Dallas, the Texas area, a cluster of them in New York, Northern Jersey around Newark. There's a store in Nashville. And so there's sprinkling. One's going to be popping up in Arizona. So, the brand is expanding. And they're doing it at a very measured pace though. They want to ensure that, and that's something else that the owners really care about. They care about their brand. They care about the consistency of the brand, the quality of the product that they serve everywhere. The flagship store here needs to have the same quality of their drink that we do, and vice versa. And so they care about that. So their growth is strategically paced, as opposed to just, hey, let's get 1,000 stores open so that everybody knows what it is. You know, and again, that speaks to their interest and pride about their creation, you know, their idea. You know, and the thing that sold us, my wife and I, when we signed the franchise agreement, is we came to Ann Arbor, and they actually sit you down and they do a taste the segment or taste the different segment, where they walk down the street and get a competitor's, you know, cold brew, the competitor's house blend, the competitor's whatever. And they sit their same drink side by side, and then they say, go ahead, taste competitor A, and then taste us.
Awesome.
And yeah, it blows your mind. And we were sold immediately. I mean, they use real ingredients. The drinks are smooth.
Yeah.
It is a premium beverage. And you know, again, we were hooked. As soon as you do that, your eyes will widen. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to do that in some way, shape, or form, maybe.
That would be so fun.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes.
So if that was 2 years ago that you first found Sweetwaters, how did you get here? How do we get to out from your opening?
How do you end up on a Facebook Live chat with a guy in Ann Arbor? So the first step after you sign the franchise agreement is you start to look for real estate. Now, my wife and I are originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I was born and raised there. She's actually from West Virginia. We got married there. I'm an attorney. That's my background. I'm an attorney who doesn't want to be an attorney anymore, and that's why we looked into, you know, small business ownership, and we found Sweetwater. So we moved to Raleigh in January of 2018, so about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So when we first moved to Raleigh, what you're doing is looking for real estate. We've got to find that perfect location for Sweetwaters. There was another franchisee at the time who opened the Amberley location. His name was Scott, and, you know, acquaintance and friend of mine, and, you know, he was a couple steps ahead of the process from me. He had his store built. He found the location, built it out, opened it last May. So basically almost a year ago to the day.
It was.
Right. Several months into it, you know, just decided personally it wasn't a good fit for him. I was still looking for real estate. And as a fellow franchisee, when he decided to exit the system, I was the logical choice to offer the sale to. And since I had not signed a lease anywhere yet, it was a pretty simple decision for me to acquire that spot. Whenever he operated it, I was out there probably a dozen times or so in the 6-7 months that he operated, and you know, obviously love the cafe. It's a as the franchise system goes, it's a gorgeous cafe. He's got that end unit. The patio there is great. I always really liked it. So it was a no-brainer to acquire it. So we bought it and closed the deal in February. Actually February 25th, so almost three months ago. The plan was to reopen at the end of March. We all know what happened in the beginning of March.
Yeah.
So the brakes were pumped, and the gas, you know, the foot's off the brake and back on the gas now. And so we're up here for training, and June 13th will be our two Saturdays from now, our big reopening. So
Nice.
looking forward to it.
And Crystal, how did you two find each other?
I had moved to the Raleigh area. My husband got transferred with the post office. He does IT, like I think everyone in that area.
Yep.
And it's been our goal. It's been our dream to be in Raleigh, North Carolina. We were in Mississippi. I'm originally from Michigan. So I'm born and raised Michigan. And when I seen John's, his ad, his help wanted, looking for a general manager, I jumped on that. And as soon as I talked to him, I was like, I love coffee. Like I already have pride, like Michigan pride, you know, like this is product. I love it. It's great quality. Like I stand behind that. And so now that we're here at headquarters, I'm like, hey, maybe I want to be a franchisee. Just learning so much. I'm like, yeah, like it's awesome.
Yeah. And that was something I was looking for in the general manager. We had interviewed several people and, you know, talked a lot, and you know, didn't take long for my wife and I to decide to offer her the job, because, you know, I think one of the first things she said to me was, oh, it's so funny. Like, I actually want to own my own coffee shop. I said, this is a great place to be able to do that. Because I'm going to delegate a lot of responsibility, but I want somebody who is enthusiastic about the brand, who's enthusiastic. She loves people. This is a people business, you know, and to a large extent, you know that in the real estate world, you know, you're selling houses, but it's really people.
Working with people.
Right,
It happens to be about houses. It could be about
Exactly.
selling matchsticks. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's people.
That's exactly right. And so she has all those qualities, and then she has the kind of operational experience that frankly I'm going to need to rely on, because I intend to, you know, be a part-time attorney, full-time coffee shop owner. So I'll be stretched thin, but I'm thrilled that she's on board, and you know, I think she's, as you can tell, as she's learning more about the company, she's, I think, becoming more excited and enthusiastic about it, which is
Great.
which is I had the same experience. Again, you kind of you come out here, you read about it in the FDD, which is the franchise disclosure document. Every franchise has to kind of give you the nuts and bolts about the operation, you know, financial expectations, all kinds of, you know, required federal law stuff. And then after you read about it on paper, but then you meet the owners, then you taste the product, and you're like, this is a no-brainer.
I want this. Like, this is great.
Yep.
That's awesome. Crystal, what is your operations background?
So
Have you worked in other coffee shops before?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Have you worked in other coffee shops before, or do you have just a general hospitality background?
I haven't really worked at, per se, a coffee shop.
Yeah.
I've been in restaurants since I was 15. I first started at Burger King. I was a manager at Wendy's at 18. Then I went on to be a server, and I've been serving for several years. I was working in Mississippi at this place called the Midtowner, and it was just like a breakfast place. We were only open from 7 to 2. We served a lot of coffee, but not the specialty drinks that Sweetwaters has to offer, not like the iced dragons and the lattes. It was just regular coffee. But yeah, I've been working in restaurants. I just serving, learning to talk to people, and always being around that.
And management. I mean, you're doing scheduling and things at different places, and management experience as well. And all right, Lisa, I'm going to name drop here. Tell Lisa and the crowd and the viewers who you basically waited on a weekly basis. And I believe this person requested you, correct?
Yeah. Goodness. He was one of my favorites. He would come in every Sunday morning about 7 a.m. Request me. A lot of my coworkers would be like, he just talks to you a lot. Like, you have other customers. I'm like, no. It was Brett Favre. He's one of my regular customers in Mississippi.
Wow.
Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Southern Misses there. That's where he went to college. That's where he's from.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
So maybe we can get him to drive up here sometime.
Yeah, I mean, he should be part of the taste test.
He should be a part of the taste test, and bring a Sharpie, Mr. Favre. You'll probably be signing autographs.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think that's really
much famous, Crystal.
Yeah. I do background movies. I've been doing that for a few years. I've got some stuff coming out later this year. My kids do it too. They were just in a movie with Ben Affleck. But we lived really close to New Orleans, and they're calling New Orleans the second Hollywood because they do a lot of filming there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just showed us on the plane when we were flying up here. A movie that she's in had the trailer out, and she sent me part of the trailer. And they're at some kind of dance or something.
It's at a bar scene.
It's at a bar scene, and there's people dancing in the background. And she says, "Oh, look, there's the back of my head."
So fun.
Yeah.
The movie's called The Ravine. It has Peter Facinelli and Eric Dane and Terry.
Okay.
Later this year.
Well, maybe we should have a watch party when you all are open, and
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we cross promote with Amberley Local, and we can have drinkers on one side and designated drivers on ours.
Exactly. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Okay. So I have a list of questions in front of me, and we've kind of been going out of order, but that is all good. So why, I mean, you sort of answered this already, but like, why here and now for both of you?
Well, for me, again, it's, I don't know how many attorneys you know, but if you can introduce me to a happy one, I'll give you $5. I've been an attorney for 15 years, and just, it's almost a you only live once kind of attitude. I wanted to try something else. I sit behind the desk most of the day pushing paper, and maybe the audience can gauge this. I'm a chatty Cathy. I like to talk. I like to engage. I love to get to know people, people's stories. We all have unique backgrounds and something, we're all living this life together. So business ownership was something I was interested in. And again, I did my due diligence and research on several different concepts, big and small. And Sweetwaters just seemed like a good fit for me, from the concept to the franchise support, and obviously investment too. I mean, it's be great to get a Chick-fil-A. Obviously, anybody who's interested in a business would say that. Kind of hard to do and pretty expensive. So, but I'm thrilled to be a Sweetwaters franchisee, and that's sort of how I ended up making this, hopefully, transition for the rest of remainder of my career. Cool. So I don't have to be a lawyer. I always joked around. I tell everybody that one of my life goals is to be 50 years old at a cocktail party, and when somebody asks me, "What do you do?" I can say, "I used to be a lawyer."
Be a lawyer.
I can promise you a lot of lawyers would chuckle at that and say, I agree. How do I do that? Tell me how to do that.
Yeah. Chris, what about you? Why here and now for you?
Yeah, North Carolina for my husband, that had been his goal for years, like to get to headquarters, be to North Carolina, and now he's like, okay, now we're here. Now, what do you want to do? What's going to make you happy? Like, I fulfilled my dream. This is our goal for our family, but what do you want to do? And I met John and Joy, and I'm like, this is it. Like, this is, I love this already, and I'm not even that far into it, but I could see this as a long-term, like retiring, like John said, that's his be that for his career, the remainder of his career. And I just think that's great. Like, I'm all on board with that.
Yeah.
Are you someone who feeds off of other people's energy? You both seem like you are, actually. And so when you get around people who have the same energy as you, I feel that way with our team too. I mean, there's so many bright people that we could have on our team, but they've got to have the same energy as us or similar. Yeah. And when you get people that have a similar vibe to you in a room, I mean, the sky's the limit, really.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel like work then either.
Exactly.
I mean, it is work, but it doesn't feel, you're not working in a coal mine, right? I mean, it doesn't feel like that. And that's the kind of, it's your attitude and your perspective, right? I mean, good attitude, good perspective, you're probably going to have a happy life. And that's the tone we want to set with our employees. I mean, obviously many of the workers there are going to be younger. We hope to serve as role models to them, mentors in a way, in addition to, they're receiving a paycheck from us. But that's the attitude and the environment we want to set is and inviting, a warm. The motto of the company is make our guests stay. And that's what we want to do, because by making their day, they're going to have smiles on their faces. They're going to be more inclined to come back, and we're going to develop a relationship. I appreciate that they're going to purchase our beverages and our small fare, but we're developing relationships, and they're focused on that. That's a tenet of the company. Have that strong community engagement and be a neighborhood cafe. And again, the company's growing, but the core is neighborhood cafe, friendliness. Know the customers, get to know them well inside and out, and be a bright spot in their day. So I'm happy to I'm hoping that we will succeed in that mission. Yeah.
I think, it's, I think in a business like yours, and mine too, but I mean, we tend to be there for our clients for a certain time in their life, right? Like when they're in the process of moving to a new city or moving to a new state, or when they're getting that new job, or when that new baby came, those are the types of things that tend to spark a move. And so we tend to just actively work with folks during a specific phase in their life. We keep in touch with them forever. We hope that they're part of the Bright Ideas family for a long time. That's why we do a lot of client events. That's why we keep in touch with our folks, so that if they have questions about like refinancing or about home maintenance, or when it comes time for them to move again 10 years later, that they'll keep in touch with us, and we can help them with that. Or if they go to another city, we can help with that too. But I think what's really neat about what you guys do is it is that sort of daily interaction, or even if it's just on Saturdays that someone comes in. Like I have a friend who used to always go into to Sweetwaters for scones on Saturday. That's just something that her family did. And it's just kind of this thing that they do, you know? And what's interesting about it is that you're right. You do have that opportunity to be a bright spot in their life, or you become, you know, again, like I said, we tend to meet people in transition. When people are going through transitions or something big is going on in their life, you're that bit of normalcy, right? Like your coffee shop remains the same. When everything else is changing, they can always come in and have an experience that they can rely on. And I think that it's things like that are really profound. You know, we can minimize it, but I don't know why we do that. Because it really actually is very human and very profound to have that.
I was just going to say, I think it's a human nature thing. I mean, because we live in a social media type world, but there is some kind of just innate, inherent desire to be committed to local thing. Get to know your neighbors still. I mean, it's not the knowing your neighbors is not as robust as it was maybe, you know, a generation ago. But, you know, I think people still want that. People, you know, still want to have that in community involvement and engagement with people. And you mentioned the growing thing. That was something else I forgot to mention is, you know, that was for me as an attorney, you know, you work long hours, it's stressful. And I've got two little kids, a 5 and a 2-year-old, and the founders of the company, that was a driving force for them to own a business like this. They wanted their kids to grow up knowing kind of what mom and dad did. Having flexibility when you own your own business to, you know, you work hard, you put a lot of time into it. Don't get me wrong, but to be able to go to the baseball games and to be active with them. And
absolutely,
I was looking for that too. And I wanted that. And my kids are 5 and 2. Crystal has a 12 and a 9-year-old. I'm so excited to have my kids, you know, hopefully cross our fingers that for years to come, you know, my 5-year-old will turn into a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, and 16-year-old employee.
yeah.
Like she said, I mean, Lisa and Way's son was training her how to make us barista training today for her by the founders, you know, children, which is great. And you know, the other night I met they've got 3 boys. I met all 3 of them. We're sitting around having pizza. It was great. You know, and that again, that's the kind of experiences I want to have with the guests in addition to coworkers, you know.
I totally get it. I know when I wanted to own my own business, I think I told you this when I met you, that I just sort of had this moment where I realized how much older my kids were getting. You know, I think at that point, Chloe was about to turn 10. She's about to be 12. So it was 2 years ago. I thought to myself that, you know, I was kind of a rising star in the corporate world, and that feels really good. And I was associated with a brand that means a lot in the world. And yet I was like, gosh, you know, if I stay on this trajectory, I'm going to get more and more work and more responsibility, which is great. I can do it. I can handle it, but I have less control of my time, you know? Whereas now when my kids, I mean, when they were in school, you know, we have to like rewind to pre-COVID. But if there was like something going on during the school day, like a show and tell kind of a thing, or a parent presentation, or an open house, or the 3-day field trip that I went on to Washington, D.C. last year with the 5th grade, which, you know, I'm not going to lie, it was not an easy trip. It was a long shot from vacation. However, I got to do that. That was memory making, you know, with my kid, which if I worked for somebody else, there's just no way I could do all of those things, you know? So I totally get it.
And like a lot of parents and young, you know, with young children and stuff. I mean, you know, I tell people in their late 20s this all the time, you know, early 30s before they have families. I said, life is stages, right? It's phases. And you for whatever reason, whatever happens to you, you do shift your focus. And you know, I'm 41, and I just thought it was a time to shift focus. You know, I know what that path looks like. You know, life is interesting. Let's see what's down this path.
Let's try this. I mean, the worst thing is that it's not going to work, and then
and you'll still land on your feet somewhere. You know, we're resilient. Humans are resilient, and you know, with love and support from family and things, you'll land on your feet. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a risk, but it was worth it to me. You know, like I said, I know what the other path looks like, and I didn't want to walk it.
Yeah. So what's the feeling and the vibe that you want to create in your cafe? We've talked about that, you know, how you have this opportunity to create the experience. So what does that look like for you?
Um, you know, hopefully the tone that we have here, conversational, friendly, warm. I want people to be as thrilled about the beverages as I am. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we've been here 2 days, and both mornings, obviously they're we're drinking for free right now, which is cool. Um, you having that really good beverage in the morning it does add a pep to your step. It actually brightens your day. It's weird, right?
Yeah, I personally, I want the kind of environment, the work environment where I don't wear a name tag because you know my name. You walk in and where everybody knows your name every morning. Hey, Mr. Smith, would you like your regular? Like, we all know you, you know us. So
Right.
it's more of a community, and that's what I'm hoping for. We're gonna have.
Yeah, and we want as many regulars as we can because and we want our employees to have this kind of attitude. It is a neighborhood cafe, and we want to give back in that kind of way. And again, when the mottos make your guests stay, I think that speaks volumes about what, and it's not just lip service. I mean, you'll see that we practice it. When we come back and implement all of the policies and then the procedures and the attitude and what Sweetwaters is all about. And we run the system the way it's supposed to be run. So, it is about that kind of attitude. Of happiness, of warmth, of friendliness, and engagement. Community engagement.
What kind of things would you want or need or look for from the Amberley West Cary community to help you to be successful? There's so many people. There's 4,000 houses that are within reasonable walking distance to your store. So what can those people do? I mean, but obviously go and buy coffee and check you out and say hi, but what else? What else would you want?
I mean, honestly, the only ask I would have of people is if you love coming there, just, refer a friend, so to speak. I mean, word of mouth is a great way to, and you as a real estate agent, this too. You're going to get referral work. You're going to get recommendations from previous happy clients. If we make guests happy, that's how referral work works. It works in the attorney field. I mean, I get clients that way, all the time. One client says, "Hey, this attorney I know is a great attorney. You should call him if you've got the same problem," kind of thing. That's all our ask is. I mean, we're looking forward to meeting all these people. We don't know you yet. The guests are kind of, faceless right now. I can't wait for a month from now to know, gosh, maybe a couple hundred more people. We're transplants. We're not born and raised North Carolinians. So that's kind of, that's a personality thing. I mean, you have to like people, and we like people. And again, I hope I have 200 more people that I know in a month, and I know 200 more people's stories. Where are you from? How'd you end up here? I'm inquisitive like that, existential. It's life is short kind of thing. We're all in this together. And how are you deciding how to navigate life and all of life's obstacles and joys and, failures and everything? I dig that. I think that's another human nature trait that is a common thread amongst everybody. Everybody has worries and anxieties. Everybody's got hopes and dreams, and no hope or dream is any better or worse than the other. We're all individuals, and I think that it's cool to meet people and recognize that. It's again kind of existential a little bit, and a lot of value. I place a lot of value in that. So,
what about you, Crystal, as the general manager? How can the community support you?
I love being a part of the community. I recently just joined the Cary JCs. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not. I've been involved JCs for many years, since I was in Mississippi chapter to Michigan chapter. I've been following them around. But I love to meet people. I love to be in events, book clubs. I would like to have gatherings. So, this is your social hangout. Hey, let's go down to the local coffee shop. Let's go get a scone and talk. And if you want to talk to somebody, if you're bored and if you're in quarantine, you just come in here, get a few hours.
Yeah.
If you need an ear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
At least the number of texts I've gotten from my wife. When are you leaving yet? Are you leaving? They come often because she's like, you won't shut up unless somebody. Yeah, because like I said, I mean, I could sit there for hours and talk about somebody's life, and just be like, wow, that's cool, Everybody brings something different to the table, and I think I don't know, it gives me a lot of value. If not for personal relationships, what else are we here for, right? So this is probably is this the most philosophical happy hour you've had?
Maybe a little, but that's good. That's good. I married a philosophy major, so it's all good.
Oh, wow.
So my last question is, if we could fast forward to a year from now, what do you want to say about, or what would you want to have accomplished, or what would be the memories or the milestones in your business at Sweetwaters Amberley?
Let's see. I mean, there's the emotional side of things. I mean, it goes back to all the things we talked about. I mean, I hope I have hundreds of new friends, hundreds of new acquaintances, and people who are happy to come to our shop every day. And I'll let her answer that the subjective component of it. Go ahead and answer the subjective component.
It's just the job satisfaction, the pride, knowing that you have a great product. You're not trying to, fool someone. Oh yeah, buy this no, it's really good stuff. Also, I was going to say, my kids love to just come to the cafe. Like they always want to come. Like, can I go to work with you? Like, how come help? I want to just hang out in the cafe. Like, that's the kind of environment we want. Like, come here and like, we have milkshakes. It's not just coffee. It's not just tea. There's breakfast sandwiches. There's some cookies that are amazing. Try the cookies. But yeah, it's just a really warm, welcoming environment. Like everyone's invited. You from 8 to 80 or, whatever.
Right. And that's the subjective component of it. We hope we have the same smiles we have today. Less the fear of, we don't know what the heck we're doing yet. But objectively though,
of that as a business owner.
Well, and then I was going to say, I mean, let's not, just ignore the white elephant in the room. It is a business. So, if we want to be profitable, I mean, clearly a year from now, I'm going to say, gosh, I hope we're profitable. And we will do everything we can to earn our guest business and expand the business. So if I'm sitting here from a year from now and saying, Lisa, we're in the black, that will be a very, very, I will have a giant smile just like I do right now on my face.
Awesome.
So.
Thank you guys so much for all the work that you're doing. Really, that coffee shop has meant a lot to the community. It was sad when it closed. We were sorry to see Scott go, but we're so excited. I really feel confident that I speak for the surrounding area when I say we're so excited for you all to be back up and running and to be another set of familiar faces and just another great spot over there for us to come and hang out and meet up as friends, meet up with our family, or just go by yourself and have 10 minutes of coffee and quiet and peace. Or, me and my team, we're always over there working and having meetings. I mean, there's just so much that comes out when we gather at a table over drinks.
Right.
So much happens. And I think that you'll find this community is so warm and so excited to have you back. So
well, and we've learned that already. I mean, we work at the cafe, we're cleaning it up. I mean, getting it ready, prepped and stuff. And every time we're out there, 6, 10, 15 people pop their head in. Oh, you open yet? Are you open yet? Yeah. And, we go through the same spiel or soon, but then I stand there. Yeah. I'm the one that stands there and talks to them for like 15 minutes. Probably trying to get away from me, but yeah, I mean, so it seems like it's, what do they say? If you love something, set it free. And
yeah.
So it was set free for a couple months, but hopefully the love will return.
Well, in Amberley, we have this little hashtag. It's #Famberley. So we're excited to have you guys join the Famberley. And we'll see you on June 13th. We'll be there.
Yes. Thank you very much. We're very much looking forward to it.
Awesome. All right. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you,
All right.
Lisa.
See you, Lisa.
Bye.